So with media folks, so we've got you on online now?
Yes.
I like that backdrop. I see Bud Light and that's good.
India, I'm going to go ahead and start,
Okay.
assuming that we've got all of our media partners here with us. I'd like to welcome everyone to this press conference, Zoom conference, if you will. I'm David Stone. I'm the chairman of the Harvest Foundation Board of Directors. Announcement today that we're very excited about. And I'm joined by Pete Snyder, who's the founder of the Virginia 30-Day Fund. You'll be hearing a lot more about him and what his background is and the fund he and his wife have created a little bit later. I'm also joined by India Brown, who's a program officer at the Harvest Foundation. He's working quite a bit in this area that we're going to be discussing today, and we're excited to have her here as well. We may be possibly joined later by Senator Chap Peterson. If he joins in, we'll make sure that you're aware that he's part of the meeting. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the meeting. So if media partners, if you would hold your questions until we get to the end, and then India and I will give you the opportunity to direct your questions to whoever you may want to speak with. First and foremost, I'm an entrepreneur and have worked for lots of large companies that had big bankrolls, but when I turned 40 and I started my own business, I really learned what it's like to be out there on your own. The challenges that businesses face: do you have enough capital? Can you handle cash flow? Can you pay the rent? You start hiring employees. Can you make payroll? Are your customers paying you on time? I could go on and on and on. And before I got into that world, I had a lot more hair than you see right now on this head. The interesting thing, in my 20 years of being an entrepreneur, I didn't have to deal with a pandemic. I did not have to deal with possibly having to stay at home, lock your door, not let customers into the building, and all the other challenges that small businesses faced as they went through this pandemic, really over the last 90 days or so. I think a lot of the Harvest board members and our staff, we knew when this pandemic, was well underway. We knew the government was going to do what they could to get relief to businesses. We knew what the Small Business Association was doing. There was the PPP fund that was being distributed, but we knew that it could be that our local small businesses in Martinsville and Henry County may need an extra boost to make it through this process of coming back. And we began looking for a partner locally, what have you, that we could work with to act as an intermediary, an agent to help us qualify small businesses and to potentially get funds into their hands that would help them make it through these challenging times. And let's face it, the challenging times are not over. We may only be in the middle of the game right now. So India and the Harvest staff began looking diligently to try to find a partner. And as I mentioned, we became aware of Pete and the fund that he and his wife Burson started in Charlottesville, and began doing some due diligence and talking to Pete and his team about what they were doing, how his program worked, and how it could help us get money into the hands of small business people in Martinsville and Henry County. And after some discussion and investigation, we knew that we had the perfect partner for this effort. And Pete, we're so happy that we met you. Our board, and this is the big deal for the day, is we're investing $1 million and the 30-day fund, which is Pete's program with his wife up in Charlottesville. And we're doing this in honor of all local healthcare, EMT, all the folks that have been on the front lines here in Martinsville and Henry County throughout this pandemic, who are still out there risking it every day. We wanted to honor them as well. So these are forgivable loans that will be put in the hands of these small businesses. Pete's going to tell you how that's going to work. And they're forgivable for companies that employ 3 to 30 individuals. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Pete. And Pete, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, how you got here, and about the 30-day fund.
Sure, David. Thank you so much. And this is just a meaningful day for me and my wife, Urson, and for our entire team at the Virginia 30-Day Fund. And also, I think it's going to be a very meaningful day in the lives of small business owners in Martinsville and Henry County. My wife and I started the Virginia 30-Day Fund 6 weeks ago, a little over 6 weeks ago, when the world really started to fall apart. And of all things, we were in Disney World with our 5-year-old daughter, which is the exact last place you want to be when a global pandemic breaks out. But we raced home to Charlottesville and saw what was happening. And we really view what's happening out there as we're in a war right now. We're in a war. And there is a front in the health and wellness side of things that is literally killing people. And you have the heroes that we are honoring with this fund in the first responders and doctors and nurses and surgeons that are literally saving lives every day. But there's another front to the war, which is an economic front, which is savaging Main Street, which is destroying small businesses right here in Martinsville and Henry County. I am just so very thankful to David, the Harvest Foundation, for India and Latala and Allison Rothrock, Matt Jenkins and their entire team for finding us and seeing what we were doing out there. It's been over 6 weeks, and we have the Virginia 30-Day Fund. We have funded over 350 small businesses across the Commonwealth. And we are thrilled that our Pay It Forward movement is not only sweeping the Commonwealth, but also the country. We've had Pennsylvania raise their hand and start a 30-day fund, Georgia, Mississippi this week, California coming soon, and that we have a strong and meaningful beachhead right here in Southside Virginia, in Martinsville and Henry County. We're going to be able to help a whole lot of folks. And I have a message to all of the hardworking heroes out there that are navigating a global pandemic and mandatory shutdowns out there, trying to feed their families, trying to keep their people on the payroll. Help is on its way, and it's coming right now. We've got your back. The Harvest Foundation has your back. Your neighbors have your back. And that's why I'm just so excited to be a partner in the Pay It Forward MHC Emergency Relief Fund for small businesses. We're going to be able to help a whole lot of people out thanks to the generosity of David and the Harvest Foundation and the innovativeness of their staff, India and Allison and Latalia and the rest of the wonderful crew. We can't wait to see what kind of a direct impact we're going to have in the weeks ahead. But we're going to save a whole lot of jobs and a whole lot of small businesses in the next couple of days and weeks. So thank you, David.
India?
Okay, yes, so my name is India Brown, and I am a program officer here at the Harvest Foundation. I am absolutely elated about our partnership with the Virginia 30-Day Fund. As a quote I once read says, "Any business is risky business, but none more so than small business. They are the ones who take the shirts off of their own backs." And like everyone across the world, the Harvest Foundation, we've had to adapt to this new normal created by COVID-19. And for the foundation staff and our board, the new normal was redirecting our focus a bit to assess how we could best invest in our community during the pandemic. And through our partnerships throughout Martinsville and Henry County, we were well informed and understood the effect that COVID-19 would have on small businesses. Small businesses are really the heart and soul of our community. They provide much more than great products. They really do build our community. For example, from the great dialogue that we can have at monthly book clubs at Books and Crannies, our local bookstore, to the laughs and conversations that we can have in the parking lot, enjoying Dipper's ice cream. You know, small businesses really are essential to the well-being of our community. And so it is an absolute honor to partner with the 30-Day Fund. Our gift of $1 million will provide forgivable loans up to $3,000 for Martinsville and Henry County workers, small businesses. Notice that the name is Pay It Forward MHC. These forgivable loans are not required to be repaid. However, if a business would like to repay this loan, they can do so by forwarding those funds back into the Pay It Forward MHC fund, and then they will reallocate those funds back into other local small businesses, which we are really, really excited about. So now I want to really share the specifics of this of this loan program with you. As I said, Pete Snyder and his team are truly passionate about what they do, and it was a no-brainer for us to partner with them. So let me share some of the eligibility requirements for this fund. So businesses that are eligible for this fund are businesses that are employing between 3 and 30 full-time or part-time employees. They are based in Martinsville and Henry County. They are recognized as a for-profit business. They are able to produce a business license, and they are owned and operated by a Virginia resident. This information will be on the Harvest Foundation website. Our website is www.theharvestfoundation.org. Applicants can directly be linked to the Pay It Forward MHC application from our website. So if you visit our website, if you hover over how to apply, you will see Pay It Forward MHC. You can click on that link and it will take you directly to the applications. Applications for this forgivable loan consist of really a one-page application and submission of a brief video just giving information about the applicant, employees, and the use of the funds. There is a rapid turnaround with this application, which we are also very excited about. So once again, we are super, super excited to partner with the Virginia 30-Day Fund for Pay It Forward MHC. And we urge you, the community, to share this with any small businesses who could benefit from this program. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask the media partners that have joined us if you have any questions, and feel free to direct those to myself or Pete or India. Charles?
I think Charles is on mute.
Yeah, Charles, you're on mute. Sorry.
How about now?
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. So I want to thank y'all for doing this. I think it's definitely something the community needs right now. Are all businesses, all small businesses are eligible? That's my first question. If they fit that 3 to 30.
I'm happy to field that. Yes, all small businesses that are for-profit, in between 3 and 30 employees, and are based in Martinsville or Henry County, owned by a Virginian, and have been around for a year. Absolutely.
All right, David, tell me why the partnership. I'm sure you have a reasoning for it, but tell us why you're bringing someone from outside to help us.
Harvest does not directly provide grant money to for-profit entities. We have always worked with intermediaries to do that, and that's pretty much the way the foundation operates. So, as I said earlier, we knew that we needed to find a partner that could help us qualify and distribute the funds. And in the case of what Pete's doing, he was already doing this. India and staff spent some time locally trying to find the right partner, and we could never put it together. Then when we found out about what Pete was doing in Charlottesville, he's already created the formula and the product that we were looking for.
Pete, let me ask you, what can you do to, I guess, speed the process up? I mean, I guess that's why they hired you, because you've had experience at this.
Sure, Charles. Look, we view ourselves as the economic Marines. We saw a need in the marketplace, and we knew, look, federal government's trying to do what they can do. PPP is a well-intended program, $2 trillion being pumped into the economy. That said, we all know the federal government isn't known for moving quickly. And that's why my wife and I and a handful of our friends in the business community and the philanthropic community in Virginia stepped up and put together the Virginia 30-Day Fund, because we knew that people would die waiting for the federal cavalry to get there. So we have a very quick and easy process. All can be done on your smartphone. Takes less than 10 minutes, one page, and then flip your phone on yourself and do a 90-second video telling who you are, what your business is, show it to us, and tell us what you need the funds for. And that's it. And that's why in a little over 6 weeks, we've been able to fund 350 small businesses across the Commonwealth. Even more are being helped by 30-day funds across the country. And that's more than any other non-government entity has done in America. Now, that shouldn't be the case, right? We should be like 50th on the depth chart, but the system really isn't working. So we're helping people that are caught between the couch cushions, who haven't gotten their PPP or don't have a fancy accountant or lawyer to help them navigate the way. And these forgivable loans are meant to be a lifeline to get them to the other side.
We just had a question come in from Brandon. What are some examples of unacceptable loan requests?
Well, I think if you're based in North Carolina, I'm sorry, this is Virginians helping Virginians. As it relates to the Pay It Forward MHC, you must be based in Martinsville and in Henry County. And then, we are targeting businesses between 3 and 30 employees because we believe, and the Harvest Foundation believes, those are the most at-risk businesses. Doesn't mean that if you have 50 employees that you don't matter. You matter a lot. Doesn't mean if you are a solo practitioner that you don't matter. No, you matter to your community, but this is the specific band of small businesses that we're focused on.
Thank you.
I got one more question.
Yes, Charles.
One of the things that I've learned in the application process for anything, there are things that you like. What can things put on their application? What do you like to see in an application, Pete?
Sure. I mean, we tend to focus on, and this is where at the Harvest Foundation, I have a lot of agreement on the big 3, as we call it. First and foremost, this entire program is intended to make sure we actually have an economy when we pull out of this thing. So it's first, make sure you're keeping your people on payroll. As Chris Lawless of Lawless Welding, right in the community, we funded a couple weeks ago, and he told me on the phone, said, my gosh, Pete, thank you so much for this lifeline. I have 10 really good workers here that I'm paying out of my own pocket to keep on payroll, and things are so bad, if I allow them to go on unemployment, they're never coming back. So first, making sure that they're keeping their people on payroll. Secondly, used for rent and bills. We actually want them to have a door to open when we reopen our economy. And lastly, during a very scary time for health and wellness, keeping their employees on health care. That's it. Those are the ones that we really focus on the most.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
When will the first funds come out?
ASAP. We are armed and ready to go, and I have a feeling there are going to be some really happy people by the end of the day.
Wow.
We're not the federal government. This is the private sector. We can move quickly.
India, do you want to share some of the avenues that local businesses can go to learn more about this?
Sure.
Just to review that.
Sure, definitely visit the Harvest Foundation website. We will definitely have all of the information there, www.theharvestfoundation.org. We've also spoken with our community partners, so our local Chamber of Commerce, our local Economic Development Corporation, our Workforce Investment Board, as well as our Small Business Development Center. They all have information on how to access the application, and they have all of the specifics as far as eligibility.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you all for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if there are no other questions, I just want to again reiterate that this is being done to honor the first responders, the healthcare workers, the folks that have been out there protecting all of us for the last 60, 80 days. And I know they're going to be out there, you know, throughout the entire recovery process. I want to thank Pete, you and your wife, Burson, and again, thank you all for being out in front of things and being the innovator and developer that you are. And thank the Harvest staff for their hard work, and our board, and Allison Rothrock, our president. We were completely united in our mission here, and we're so happy to have found a partner. And we're anxious to see Pete start writing those checks and getting them out here and into the city and the county. Thank everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing some of the good things that happen from this point forward. Have a great day.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David. Thank you, India.